much. It's time to rise. Unleash the power deep inside, strong and fierce. You're not alone. Together we'll make our presence known. We're the women ready to roll. Oh, yeah. Build the myths, life and sisterhood. Oh, yeah. We'll conquer all just like we should. Roll, Lioness.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome again to the Pride and Purpose podcast, where we are living life not just on purpose, but with a purpose. So we're so excited today to have with us Nicola. Yes, Nicola from Brainworks Therapy, all the way from London. We are having a ball this morning in the studio, realizing what time it is. I was explaining to Nicola that she's already in the afternoon where she can have a glass of wine, where I am actually here in the morning at 8 o'clock, and I may be able to put a little something in my coffee, but I won't be able to have that beautiful, refreshing glass of wine. So I'm just so excited that we are here refreshed, even though it's a big time difference, but we are here refreshed and ready to add value to the amazing women of the Women Ready to Roar groups. Nicola, how are you this morning? Welcome to the Pride and Purpose podcast.
Thank you. I feel like I've waited forever to come on this podcast. But I'm here now.
Oh my goodness, and I'm so excited to have you. And likewise, I can't wait to return the favor on yours. I am just so blessed, and the women in the group and people listening to this over YouTube and wherever, Spotify, whatever you're listening to this, you are going to be blessed on today. She is amazing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Brainworks Therapy and what she does, because this is truly amazing. So Nicola, let's talk about Brainworks Therapy. Can you give us a little bit about what you do, where you do it at, and why you do it?
Okay. So, what do I do? So, I am a clinical and registered solution-focused hypnotherapist. I'm a clinical and registered specialist psychiatric nurse, and I'm a mindset coach. And I'm the owner of Brainworks Therapy, which is a private online mental health clinic that helps people reprogram their mind, change their mindset, manage their emotions, and improve their overall mental health. I specialise in working with people with complex mental health difficulties, PTSD, and women's health. And when I say women's health, we're talking about menopause, PCOS.
Okay.
I've also had a lot of women who have undiagnosed perinatal mental health, so maternal mental health difficulties. So, yeah, that's what I do. Why do I do it? So I do it from personal experiences, and all my work has been born from personal experience. So it's not a secret that I come from childhood trauma, sexual assault. Then that wasn't dealt with, and that went on to me being in an abusive domestic violent relationship. It also led to me attempting suicide multiple times. Thankfully, I'm still here to, tell. And then when I kind of realised my worth and that I'm here for a purpose and what I'm here for, and a lot of people shy away from this, but actually, I'm not going to shy away from this. So it was almost a spiritual awakening. Not almost. It was a spiritual awakening. So I'm going to claim it. So when those voices start and when they start knocking, you better answer that door. And that's exactly what I did.
I love it. And you know, here at the Pride and Purpose, we always believe that there is purpose in your pain. Whatever you're going through, we believe that there is a reason why, and we have to get in tune to what's going on and start to realize what's happening and flip it and turn it around for the good. And so you are just right in the right place at the right moment at the right time. And we are so grateful and so thankful to God that he was able to spare you and to clear out your mind, and not only clear your mind, but get your mind clear where you can help others clear their mind. It's just amazing. Isn't he awesome? Oh, this is just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. Well, I am so glad that you're here, and I want to just pose some questions for you because you have such knowledge and understanding, and not just your experience from what you're certified in, but you have a life of experience. And that's what I say to people all the time. When you experience things, you become an expert, because the word experience means being an expert. So let's talk to the expert here. So Nicola, I would like to ask you, how does neuroscience influence your therapeutic approach, especially for women? And how do these principles address the specific challenges that women might face in their mental health journey?
Okay. So I'm probably going to work backwards and a little bit in between. So
That is
how
fine.
does neuroscience help women? When we look at women, one of the major things that affect them are their hormones and the way their hormones are regulated. So when we look at how I use neuroscience, I always talk about the intellectual brain and the primitive brain. So the intellectual brain is what we know as you, what interacts with the world, and how you see people and how people see you. And when you operate from this part of the brain, you generally get things right. You come up with the best decision based on all the information. So you're rational. But there's a primitive brain, which consists of your amygdala, which is the most primitive and prehistoric part of your brain, which is why it flies. And then you've got your hippocampus, which holds all your inappropriate behaviours and responses, but it's not intimate. And then you have your hypothalamus, which controls all your stress hormones like the cortisol and your adrenaline. So if you think for a moment, and we'll use menopause just as an example, when you're going through menopause and you know that you get hot or cold sweats, you get a sudden, how you suddenly start noticing that in the transition and kind of going from perimenopause right in, is when you start getting a sudden onset of anxiety. You've been a confident woman all your life, you've been out there, and then overnight you suddenly start going out. You start communicating with people, you start shutting down, you start putting on weight, but you couldn't be putting on weight. No way. You are shrinking your clothes. That's what I thought. Like the Bible, I heard people talk about it, and I was like, if I was getting fat, oh no, I was getting fat. I know. And then I was like, I got a son, I was like, this damn boy's shrinking my clothes when he's taking the dryer, and he's like, no, you're putting on weight because you're becoming less active. You're becoming less active because when you're sleeping and at night, what's happening is when you wake up, when you're going through the transition and you kind of wake up and you can't get back to sleep, that's because your stress hormones are all over the place. You're in your primitive brain, you're not being regulated. So when we don't have access to our intellectual brain, that's what happens. We're stuck in our primitive brain. And it's like, it's called the feedback from hell loop. So women often find that they can't get out of it, that they can't change. Well, they can change that, they don't know how to. And so it's about using the therapy, which what I do, to strengthen the neural pathways to the intellectual brain so they become quicker. Because it's always quicker to the low road than it is to the high road. So we strengthen these so they become stronger. It increases their neuroplasticity. So they've got more access to knowledge, and then they can really start thinking about things and analysing things and calming themselves down. That's not to say that women won't need things like HRT medication as we're using menopause as an example. But what it does mean is that they'll have an unshakable base. I think that's what we need, is unshakable foundation. And I think especially when we get older, and it's been my experience as well, we need to do the work mentally. If somebody was walking around with a broken leg, you would fix it. If somebody was diabetic and their sugars were all over the place, we would fix it. If somebody had cancer, they would get treatment. So why do we not put the same amount of importance the effect that therapy can have for a person?
I love it. You touched on that right there. You just said, if you have a broken leg, you would go and get it fixed.
Yeah.
When we have cancer, we would go get it fixed. And one of the things that I find is that I think the thing, like you were talking about menopause, things that women go through, people call it just a natural process. And when we have these natural processes, one thinks that there is therapy or help for these things. It's just, oh, you're getting old. Or it's just something that you have to go through. Oh, you're having a personal summer. You'll get over it.
Yeah.
But what you directed was that it causes you to not sleep. It causes you to be all over the place. And that is not healthy.
No.
So as a BrainWorks therapeutic specialist, what do you recommend for women when you're going through things like this? What do you recommend for women that are having these issues? Can you share a little bit about some of the therapies that may be out there for us going through things like this?
Yeah, so definitely there's what I do, which I always recommend for obvious reasons, but not because I'm biased. I've used a lot of modalities. So I'm trained in cognitive behavioural therapy, dialectical behavioural therapy, neuro NLP, and I'm also solution focused hypnotherapy. But solution focused hypnotherapy is akin or on the same scientific level and result as EMDR, the rapid eye movement therapy that they use for, they used to use it for people used to return from war. It's called shell shock with PTSD. And so women that are going through that are going through difficult times physically, shall we say. So that could be menopause transition. That could be with something like PCOS. We know a lot of women, and a lot of women of colour as well, have fibroids and endometriosis, and that leads to low iron. That also leads to very sudden menstruation, and then leads to them losing at least 2 weeks of the month to ill mood, as well as looking at, they say that you have premenstrual cramps, but you can also get premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and that's very common in women who have those sorts of gynecological problems. So what we can look at is getting more into therapy, like solution-based therapy, where we look at what we're doing well, your strengths, and what's good. We can also look at reprogramming and challenging the mindset that we have. So there's a book that it's a stress management book actually, that I'm going to be giving to you to add into your back to your ladies, however you do that. I'm technically minded.
Thank you.
But there's look at the situation. Is it thoughts and feelings, or is it an actual real thing? And if it's a thing, how can we deal with it, and how can we move forward? Because I think a lot of the time we forget that our brain is made to solve problems. When we become anxious, when we become depressed, when we become anxious, we don't have enough problems to solve. Go pick your problems to solve. And it will carry you forward. When we look at things like deep relaxation, the effects that have. If you do a deep relaxation for 20 minutes to half an hour, that gives you the equivalent of 4 hours of REM sleep.
You know what? You got to repeat that, because I need people to hear that. Could you go back and because I feel that. Could you just repeat? Go ahead. Tell them again. Nicole.
When you do 20 minutes to half an hour of deep relaxation, meditation, whatever you want to call it, that's the equivalent of 4 hours of REM sleep. And REM sleep is what's missing from, I don't know how to send the menopausal chat, I'm so sorry, but when REM sleep is what's missing for women who are going through the transition. And what I always say to women who struggle to sleep at night, whether transition or not, what we do is we always think about we need to sleep. No, what you need is restful pauses. Doing deep relaxation gives you those restful pauses. Because you can sleep, but who said that it's restful? You could wake up feeling worse.
Restful pauses. I'm feeling it right now. I'm like literally feeling that I need to have a restful pause. That is so powerful. Just knowing that that gives you that amount of REM sleep. I never knew that. That is really amazing. One of the things that as our group is really the majority of our women, a lot of our women are over the age of 45. So we're in this group, and I know a lot of them are now going, Lord, have mercy. That's what's wrong with me. One of the things what I would like to share, I'd like for you to share with us as you're talking about that 20 minutes. How should we approach that 20 minutes? A lot of us, when you're saying 20 minutes of relaxation or meditation, we're thinking, okay, I'm just going to go and sit down and I'm not going to think about nothing. But that's hard. Yeah. Because when you telling me I'll go somewhere, and I'm being real. That's just an open conversation. If I go somewhere and try to sit down for 20 minutes and get that break, in that 20 minutes, I'm thinking what I have to do when I get up in the 20 minutes, so what can I do, or what can us women do to help us to get this type of relaxation that will allow us that REM sleep gratification?
So I'm obviously going to be providing you with a deep relaxation as well that you can use and play. Whenever you do that, make sure that you're not operating heavy machinery, or that you're not driving anywhere, that you're somewhere safe and comfortable. You can use it any time of the day, but I normally say to people to use it at night. Don't listen to it intently, just put it on and it does its stuff. So it's okay to be thinking about doing other stuff while you're relaxing. You'll soon start to, as you practice it more and more, because the brain's a muscle, you'll become more adapted to switching off and going with the flow. The reason why, when you sit down and you go to relax, or just have that moment of breathing, while your brain goes to, I need a loaf of bread, I need to pay the bill, I need to get the kids stuff ready for school, is because what your brain's doing is open the filing cabinet and putting all the files back in. So when you're in REM sleep, essentially, it's your brain's natural sewage system. So it's clearing out the rubbish. So that's what's happening. And when you're so compacted, it's like the moment you sit down, your brain's like, all right, ready. And it's like going through like all the files and like, make wrong place, wrong place, wrong place, wrong place, right place, right place, right place. And so with a guided meditation, which is what I always suggest, is like you follow a story, you follow analogies. So you might go back up, but you'll come back in.
I'm writing this down. Guided meditation.
Guided meditation.
Come on, you're blessing me today. You are blessing me today, and so I wrote down guided meditation. Could you give us a sample of guided meditation?
What now is all sent to you.
Oh, thank you. So you're sending it to us.
So I'm sending it to you. So I was saying the guided meditation that you can use and play. It's an audio. I spent old when I say MP3. People like, what even are you? People get how old I am. Anyway, so I'm saying audio.
So we are getting here on the Pride and Purpose an audio of a guided meditation, especially from my Brain Works therapist. And so I'm so excited about that. I love it. I love it. When you're going through these guided meditations, like you're saying, it seems to calm you, and it's going to put you there, and you're being able to get that rest. What, like you're talking about, it will help you balance in that REM sleep. Why is that important for women of our age to get that sleep that we're so deprived? What is going on with our brains? You know I was going to ask you, right? Come on, you knew I was going to. What is going on with that? Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. And I'm going to just sit back here today, and I'm going to just listen today. I'm going to just listen to this amazing speaker and just tell us why is that important, and what is going on with us when we're not receiving that really REM sleep.
Oh my God, I don't want to scare you, but I'm going to be honest. So then really, it's, right, before I go into it, I'm going to tell you all why. Because if anybody's watching, it's like, why is this girl scratching her forehead like a The reason why I'm scratching, well, I'm going to go on a bit of, we call it a soapbox. It means
Come on.
over here in England, the lack of care in women's health, the lack of information drives me to use some very bad words. And so that's the reason I was just like, my God, if women knew, not necessarily how simple, but how easier it was or could be, then we would cut off a lot of things. Like when you're going through the transition, here's what you're at higher risk of heart disease, you're at high risk of stroke, you're at high risk of heart attack, you're at high risk of cognitive decline, dementia, Alzheimer's. So when you're not getting all those things, when they're sharing all for every, and this is not for everybody. So HRT is not for everybody. There are some women who are who have estrogen dominant cancers within their family and their family history. So no, they can't take HRT. But when reasonable alternatives are not given and not spoken about, when things are demonised, it blocks up a whole road for women. Now, women are going through it on their own, thinking there's nobody out there, thinking they're scared to talk about it. You know, they're hiding away like it's some monster. It feels monstrous, but it's definitely not, a monstrous thing. And when you get that REM sleep, you lower your anxiety, you lower your depression, you lower things like your risk of cardiovascular, lower your risk of stroke, you lower your risk of heart attack, diabetes through the menopausal stage, putting on weight. You significantly lower the risk of Alzheimer's, all those sorts of cognitive declines, you lower, and they all make for you to be a healthier individual. And when you feel better, you're then able to do things like we need charisma to do, which is the exercise, which is getting out, and all those things in turn then help your bone density. Because one of the things that's missed with women in the age and going through the transition is their bone density, like osteoporosis. So it helps offset osteoporosis, helps offset arthritis. Like motion is lotion for the joint. But when you're not getting sleep, what you're doing is not doing the movement. So it has such a knock-on effect. And it's okay when you're in your 20s, early 30s, and you're not getting that much sleep because you've got kids. But when you get to the age that we're at, you need that sleep because it does so much more for your body. In fact, I'm actually involved in some research that will be starting soon about how things like guided meditation and therapy lower the stress markers in the blood.
Wow.
So she did a test on me and she was like, oh my God, you're so calm and healthy. And I was like, there's a reason because I do it every night. But 2 years ago, that wouldn't have been my story.
Oh, wow. Well, I want, if you can, I would like to share because you said your story and you said how you don't want to hide it, how it is something that you know now that there was purpose in your pain.
Yeah.
When you talked about in the beginning how you started this because it was things that you have gone through and through healing yourself, you can now help heal other women and other people. Yeah. Could you explain to us a little bit about what you went through?
Okay, so it's kind of a start in the middle, beginning and end, but it will make sense. What actually started me on my journey to doing this and becoming a nurse, because I was actually a makeup artist and a holistic therapist. So I was kind of on the right track. And then I was in a domestic violent relationship, and there was one particular, or the last instance, I would say, where he'd forced me to take a bunch of tablets that I didn't know. So at the time, my son was 6 months old. So we took all these tablets and he said, well, now you can go to A&E with your child. So therapy or accident emergency, you guys know it. So I took my baby in the car seat, went to A&E and sat there. So I got to A&E at 10 o'clock at night and I told them what happened. So I said, I've taken this tablet, I don't know what they are, I'm really scared. And they said, okay, sit down. And then I waited there with my child next to me until 5 in the morning. Nobody had come to see me. Nobody had taken any bloods. And I just said, do you know what? I'm going home to die. And I just truly believed that I was going to go home to die. And but for the grace of God, there I go. Because then I made it to the morning and the doctor called me and said, I know what's happening and I know why that's happened. So I want to help you get out. And so I did. But I ended up in that situation because of the childhood sexual abuse. And as we know, ends up making you feel devalued. And even though you think you've dealt with it, it kind of sits there, doesn't it? Dormant. And then when you have things like give birth to a baby, or when you get in certain situations, all those little negative thoughts pump up because you think that you can squash it down, essentially. And so what that did was that. And then the domestic violence relationship followed me until I realised, hang on a minute, we'll say, I'm really unlucky, I'm going to let this die. And he's like, oh, unlucky. No, you're not unlucky. It's you. You are the drama. You are the common denominator. It's you. You know like Scooby-Doo, where they unmask the villain and they're like, who is the villain? And you're like, oh my God, I'm the villain.
I'm the villain. That was one of my favorite shows. I'm sorry, I just love it. My gosh, that is you know, and then to see your smile and to see your healing is just so amazing. And what it testifies to is that the pains that we suffer, if we could flip them and begin to study why we're going through those pains, you may find a new career. You may find a new avenue to deal with things that you can help other people deal with as well. And I think it sounds like, because our destiny is, before God made you, he knew who you were going to be. And the thing was, you said something so powerful. You said you already on the right track. But then situations that happen in your life put you on a track that you knew that this is what you're supposed to do. Living in your purpose now, how do you feel? How do you feel after going through that, after saying to yourself, I'm just going home to die? And now you sit here helping thousands of women and patients to help them get their life on track. How does that make Nicola feel?
Oh, do you know what? At times, really emotional, and I get to like, this is my life. This is my life. And as I was saying to you earlier on about the whole spirituality, I've been and have been quite spiritual anyway. However, as we know, there seems to be an uprising this year, doesn't there, of the spirituality in people. And the more that I sit in that and look at being here and doing my purpose and what I should be doing, the more it's ease. It's ease and flow. And I think when you start being congruent, when you start being unapologetic and authentically yourself, that flow will come. And now I've stopped denying myself and just being like, this is who I am. I'm being really good, and I'll be honest. But when you come on my podcast, you'll be like, Nicola, stop. Because I've got a little potty mouth. I have got a potty mouth.
It's all right.
God, I've got a potty mouth, so I'm preparing you now. But it's very much, I'm being authentically me. So I'm not dropping like F on every sentence. But
Right.
But I'm being authentically me. And as I started to do that, I started to find my tribe, my people. But I'm also letting people know it's okay. Yeah. You're not the only one. You are okay. And I say that to say this because I did a live yesterday because it's Maternal Mental Health Week. It might be over there, but it is in England. And we spoke about motherhood and how people do, oh my God, I'm sick of seeing these stories where women are like, oh my God, it's my baby's so cute, and my birth was so perfect, and life's so perfect. Shut up.
I don't know what giving birth to me. that they coming, them
Oh,
two things that came, excuse me, not them two children that came out of me, it was not a perfect, like, it was painful. It was a lot, but I mean, the after, well, I don't want to say afterbirth because that's a whole nother story, but
yeah,
the moments afterwards, like when you do hold that child, yes, the pain was worth it because you see what you've produced, but the moment that you go through that, it wasn't as pretty as people play it up to be.
yeah,
No, and then the thing is after, when you're home, and you could probably share some things of that nature, because when you release that child, you release so many hormones, so many things just happen to you. And so when that happens, what is happening, if you could share with us too, why isn't it this perfect thing? And people talk about it, but like you're
yeah,
saying, to be your authentic self, and to be honest, and just to be, to share with women. And I'm moving because my light looks dark. I look really like dark in this place. I can adjust this, but I'm trying to figure out what is going on with my light. And literally, I am with the windows open. I have the sunlight coming in here, the sunlight, but it's still, the light is crazy, but it's going to be okay. But anyway, when we're going through that, like you're sharing with women, saying all of these great things about childbirth, and I'm glad that there is happy stories,
yeah,
but there are some that are not happy.
yeah,
And so if you could share with us, when you're sharing these things, and when women are going through these things like that childbirth, what is it that you can help some women who are going through and they're feeling like, why aren't I happy? Why isn't this baby like the most exciting thing that's happening in my life right now? What is going on with me that I don't feel this, what you would call the motherly instinct right now?
yeah.
Is it okay? When is it okay to be okay? I'm one to feel like it's okay to not be okay. But when is it okay for women to understand that? What is going on with our brains that we just feel that we have to be
Yeah,
a certain way?
yeah,
Is it because society says this, or
yeah.
what is it? Is it our brain that's actually saying that, or what is going on?
So I'm gonna get. It might. It might be. Some people might find it slightly woo woo. So it's slightly woo woo mixed with actual science. So if we just look at, we know that every girl has all the seeds in her for her lifetime, but
Mm.
she has those seeds in her when her mum was in her grandmother's stomach, when her grandmother was in her grandmother's stomach. Do you know what I mean? It
Ooh,
can't
that's deep.
count. So the only way that the only analogy that I can give is the slave gene analogy. Now, I know over in America, you guys are closer in generation wise to slavery than anywhere else in the world. So when we see black women, and people often use this phrase, "You're so strong, you're so confident."
Mm.
Actually, what you're seeing is the slave gene. So it's a gene we all carry in us, and it's not. I'm not making this up. This is not a word I'm giving. This is factually known. It's a gene that we carry within us from slavery because we had to look strong. You know, when we get
Mm.
and when things were happening, which I won't go into, that might trigger people. But when certain things
Mm.
were happening, you could not look like you were broken.
Jesus.
So
Mm.
that's what you look like. So when we take that and we look at things like birth and what's happening in the brain, our hormones don't settle until 2 years after the birth. So you can be as mad as
Mm.
a Maris Piper until like 2. And what helps is breastfeeding. And I'm not saying breast is best. Please, people, don't go out there and kill out yourself to breastfeed and all the rest of it, please. I beg you. Because I didn't, because it was difficult. But,
Mhm.
things like breastfeeding. But also remember, it is a trauma to your body. So yes, it is
Mhm.
a natural process, but the amount of cortisol, adrenaline that's going around, because anybody who's been through birth, and not everybody's birth is the same, but I'm gonna say 80% of people with that pain was like, I'm going to die.
Mm.
I am going to die.
I knew I was dying. Actually, I thought I died and woke up.
I said to them, I was like, get me the papers, get me the papers. And they're like, papers what? I was like, to sign to say that it's okay if I die. They was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I am dying.
No resuscitation. Just let me go.
Yeah.
Just let me go. Because that means I'm going to have to do this again, probably.
Oh, gosh. And you know, I don't want this to be a horror story for any women out there, because one thing that new mummies or mummies to be don't want is all need are horror stories.
Right.
But
right.
what I'm trying to make it is, it's okay. People think it's got to be perfect. It doesn't. We have gone through something that is hard, that's traumatic, and we've been made this way to live through it. And so when that's happening, and when we're getting all these chemicals that cause it, they don't just go back, right? So there is a period of where we need to be looked after. Unfortunately, what's happened is that we don't live in the kibbutz anymore. So some women are far from their families, or don't have a community, or do not have that network. So when you don't have that community, when you don't have that bond, when you don't have that network, what you're not getting is the important chemical balance and the important chemicals to your brain, which is your dopamine, your oxytocin, your serotonin, and your endorphin. So the oxytocin, we know, like you get when you hold your baby at first. But you need to be hugged, you need to be held, you need to be you need to be looked after. And imagine your body's depleted of all that because the baby's had it all, because the baby takes a lot from you, and then you're stuck at home with not really a lot of support. Because if your social life is based at work, well, girlfriend, you're not at work anymore. So who's Bob the Builder?
Wow. Wow. That is so powerful. You know, you have blessed so many people in so many ways. And I really thank you for all of your knowledge and your help. And I want women to know that you also are a brain therapy coach.
Yeah.
And you do a whole thing about brain mindset. Could you give us a little bit about what you do as a coach? And please let us know how we can contact you, where we can get in touch with you, what your website is, what your number is, because I think that a lot of people need to come and see you. I'm making an appointment. I'm getting ready to call you, but I want you to just share a little bit about what your brain therapy, your mindset coaching, and what do those things entail?
Yeah. So first of all, to anybody that's listening, I'm online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, I can work with you if you want to work with me. That's absolutely cool. Secondly, so what do I do? So essentially, I help empower you. I help build your resilience, build your confidence, and your self-esteem through therapy and coaching. The therapy I use is solution focused hypnotherapy, and the coaching is a mix of NLP, DBT, and neuroscience. And I work with the person, but I work with their strength to, I wouldn't say motivate them, but help them take action that then turns into motivation, that then moves them forward. They see life in a more positive way. And for any women that want to come and work with me, it's a safe place. It's a safe place and a non-judgmental place because I keep it real. I'm not.
Yes.
You have to think about. So my therapy room is essentially like going. Well, the British way would be like going down the pub with your mates, but you don't take it over there. So it'll be like going out with your girlfriend for cocktails. Like, we're keeping it real, we're laughing, we are keeping, but we're here to do work as well. And that's what I do. But I do it in a relaxed environment. So I'll check you, obviously, and tell you if you need to be checked. But I'm here to help you. And whether my therapy is different, not poo-pooing any other therapists, but when my therapy is different is, you're not with me for a long time. You're with me for a good time. So let's get you well, let's get you treated, let's get you out and living your life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, could you give us your website or where we can contact you?
So I am on Facebook at Brainworks Therapy. You'll probably find me more on Instagram, which is at Brainworks Therapy. And then my website is www.brain-works-therapy.com, which I'm sure Latrice will put in somewhere for you to find. And then I'm on LinkedIn as Nicola Noel. That's Noel, as in Christmas. But yeah, you'll be able to, there'll be links. You'll be able to find me.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love it. You have I was done with the REM sleep. I was done with the 20 minutes of relaxation. I was done then. And then you went into the whole birthing thing. I'm done today. What a blessing you have been, and the information that you have shared, so rich and so knowledgeable of what what our brains and things like that, and what how important it is for us to take care of ourselves, and to realize, just reiterating things that you said, also to understand that if you have a broken leg, you would go to get it fixed. And us as women going through this menopause and things of that nature of aging, it's not something that we have to do alone, and it has to hurt. But there is things out there that can help us, and Nicola has told us some things, and she is going to share with us some things. We're going to drop it right in the group so that you can download right here from the podcast some information that she is going to drop right there to us. I can't wait for the therapy. I'm the guided meditation. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the guided meditation. Okay. Thank you so much. If there's anything else that you'd like to share, just give us another encouraging word that you can share with all of our lovely Lioness out there.
Oh my God. What can I say? I think just don't be afraid to live in your truth and be you, because when you're not happy with yourself, it's a lonely and exhausting place to be, because wherever you go, there you are.
I'm ending the podcast with that. My lovely Lioness, you've been blessed on tonight, and I have too. And thank you again, Nicola, for being here with us and letting us know that we are, if we're all we have, that we have to understand that there's only one person that you'll get to spend the rest of your life with, that you're guaranteed to spend the rest of your life with, and that is you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Brainworks Therapy. You guys, Brainworks Therapy, go check her out. I am going to book my consultation. I want to be hypnotized. I want her to get into my mind and take me to another place. As long as she brings me back here to you, because we know that we have to continuously, come on, put those hands up, Nicole. We have to our way to success. Thank you again so much for joining us, lovely Lioness. We will see you next week right here on the Pride and Purpose podcast. God bless you and have an amazing evening.
Lioness, it's time to rise. Unleash the power deep inside, strong and fierce. You're not alone. Together we'll make our presence known. We're the women ready to roar. Yeah. Build a mess, life and sisterhood.